Network Newsroom in Los Angeles. I am Rhett Lewis here with the stars of the show. With me for the next hour, our insiders, Ian Rappaport, Mike Garafolo, and Judy Batista. Friends, let's begin with what is new today. When the Browns head to Jacksonville to open the regular season against the Jaguars. Daniel Oyefusi joining us now from Browns HQ in Berea, Ohio. Daniel, what have you learned about what went into this decision?
Yeah, Rhett, head coach Todd Monken said he considered the full body of work when considering a starting quarterback. But one thing in particular he did point out today was starting the first two games of the season on the road and the pre-snap operation. I've watched Monken all summer hound his offense about getting in and out of the huddle quickly, quarterback cadence, and making the right checks at the line of scrimmage. And all of those things point to the experience of Watson, a 9-year vet, over Sanders, the second-year player.
Okay, Daniel, thanks very much. And with the way things unfolded during the game and then after the game with Deshaun Watson, you can imagine that Cleveland Sports Radio was buzzing today.
This guy, he's made a fool out of us. We had all those years where the one thing we had over Pittsburgh was, hell, at least we don't have the off-the-field stuff like that. And now they brought it to us. And we have to deal with this guy coming into Cleveland.
But after what I saw on and off the field this weekend, I just can't wrap my head around this decision. I think the coach is maybe underestimating our fan base. I think our fans will travel to Florida to boo him.
I'm just saying, I'm coming to the game in Cleveland week 3, and if he's the starter, I will 100% boo this guy. He doesn't want to be there. We don't want him there. Let's move on.
I will not be watching at 1 o'clock on week 1, the Browns, in week 1 or week 2. I will not watch them going forward.
Okay. This guy's going to travel to boo.
No, just do that. Just run that for the whole hour.
That is a new level of, look, I get it. The Browns fans are upset here. Let's talk about what happened, though, on the field first, Mike Garafolo. Clearly, the preseason performance was just one metric for Todd Monken.
Yeah, I don't know, based on what I saw the other day, what needed to happen for Shedeur Sanders to win the job at that point.
Right.
Like, clearly it was already over because he played so well. He had the one interception. The ball was behind the target. We've debated should it have been caught or whatever. The ball was behind that led to the tip that led to the interception. But then Deshaun Watson comes in and he fires one high that leads to an interception of his own. 5 for 12, his final stats. Neither one really working with the starters. And look, I'm going to try to explain this as best I can, having talked to people in Cleveland repeatedly over the course of the offseason. Deshaun Watson is still a guy that was good enough at one point to earn a $230 million fully guaranteed contract. Now, whether they should have given it to him, given everything that went into it, that's a different show, that's a different conversation. Right now, it's who do you want to start at this point? And this is a player that showed in the summer, and like Monken alluded to, even back in the spring, who he could be, who he has been, and those throws that he was making in the spring, in the summer, that were reminiscent of the guy that earned that contract and also who earned the chance to be the Texans franchise quarterback. So they're looking at the upside here, and they're saying there's more upside here, and then for the ability for him to go on the road, get the team in and out of the huddle like Daniel was talking about, although I'm not sure what's worse for Deshaun Watson, playing on the road or playing at home at this point. Let's see if he makes it to week 3 to play at home.
Yeah, and some of the texts that I've gotten from folks around the league kind of echo what you're saying there. Like the talent, the experience all spoke to Deshaun Watson getting this job. So a very minimal level of surprise around the league on that front. Okay, bringing Ian Rappaport back in now. Ian, off the field, the comments at the podium post-game after that Bills game and performance from Deshaun Watson really felt like a player who was nearing the end of his tenure with a franchise. How did those comments and the human element of this story factor into this decision?
Well, first of all, that was never going to happen, right? Deshaun Watson I saw the commentary online. Yeah. Deshaun Watson was never going to be cut. You can't do that. The cap number is too big. And also, he is their starting quarterback. I mean, that is the number one reason. He played better than Shedeur Sanders in the entire product, as these guys were talking about. So there really was no doubt the entire time that Deshaun Watson was going to be the starting quarterback. And to get to that decision, Todd Monken essentially had to ignore everything Deshaun Watson said the other night. And actually, instead of ignore it, really do what he did, which is sit Deshaun Watson down and say, yes, people are going to be upset. You heard the calls. Fans are going to be upset. The only way to really address this, Judy, is just to play better. And there have been times when Browns fans have been not as upset with Deshaun Watson because he has put a better product down the field. he can solve this with his play. And if he doesn't, then Shedeur Sanders for sure will be waiting.
You know, Bill Polian used to say, you can't listen to the fans or you will end up sitting with them. And I say that with respect to Cleveland Browns fans who are obviously very upset. But this does create a situation that the Browns are almost certainly going to have to manage. They start the season with 2 straight games on the road. Maybe fans will travel to boo. We'll see. But if the Browns don't win those games or Deshaun Watson doesn't perform well in those games, Week 3, they have their home opener, and that could get really messy if things are not going well at that point with Deshaun Watson. It's a situation the team is going to have to manage. It's a situation that Deshaun Watson himself is going to have to manage. He's going to have to manage his emotions better than he did this past weekend. It just all leads to a potentially really difficult start to the season for the Browns. He can silence all of this if he plays well and if they win games. But certainly what we saw in the preseason in week 2 this weekend indicates that if things go sideways, they're going to have to manage things much better than they did this past weekend.
Okay, Judy, we're going to keep the same topic but switch teams, talking about the quarterback questions now in Atlanta. A new and positive wrinkle today with Michael Penix participating in 11-on-11 full team drills today for the first time since his ACL injury in November of last year. Falcons, though, still approaching his availability with caution. Okay, Judy, back with us here to talk Tua. How did Tagovailoa's performance in his first preseason with the Falcons, maybe affect the way that Kevin Stefanski approaches his starting quarterback for week 1 of the regular season moving forward?
Well, we're probably not having this conversation right now if Tua had performed better during the summer and during the preseason. He had an enormous head start on Michael Penix Jr., who couldn't practice fully. But Tua, given the opportunity to just run away with the starting job and leave Penix in the dust, was not effective enough. I mean, he simply did not perform well enough to make this not a question for Kevin Stefanski. And so the fact that Kevin Stefanski, was so non-committal today about whether Michael Penix Jr. had enough time to catch up and to win the starting job tells you everything. The door is open for Michael Penix to win this job. He's got a little under 3 weeks to do it. It seems like a rush, but frankly, Tua's non-performance in these weeks when he was the only person out there with a chance to perform opened the door for Michael Penix.
Yeah, it really seemed, Judy, like the goal of the entire organization was to have Tua be the starting quarterback right away to start the season, let Michael Penix come along slow. Remember, it's still 9 months or so from the ACL tear. Really, you'd like him to be in a scenario for the Atlanta Falcons. Remember, this is a young quarterback they drafted. They really liked. He's got a great arm. He has for sure had moments. If he comes in and seizes the job, they may not just have their quarterback for right now for week 1. They may have their quarterback for the future. And whatever it says about Tua, as Mike would say, that would be a different show. But that would be a great answer for the Atlanta Falcons. If Penix came out and proved for sure, Rhett, that he would be their starting quarterback now and moving forward.
It sounds like there's at least a chance that we could see him in the preseason finale this Friday against the Dolphins, if not week 1 on the road in Pittsburgh to open the regular season. Ian, Judy, thanks very much. Here, news out of San Francisco, really out of Ohio. 49ers owner Jed York pleading no contest to a pair of misdemeanor charges after being arrested in Ohio on suspicion of engaging in prostitution. Statement from the 49ers on the arrest of owner Jed York is given to us here from Adam Schefter, as this is a legal matter which has been resolved. We will not be providing any further comment at this time. Judy Batista back with us. Judy, any indication or expectation of discipline handed down to York from the league on this issue?
Well, the league is going to review this under the personal conduct policy. There is very limited precedent for the league to discipline owners under the personal conduct policy. Jim Irsay was arrested for driving under the influence, and he was suspended for 6 games and fined $500,000. But that's one of the very few cases under the personal conduct policy where we have seen an owner disciplined. Robert Kraft was charged sort of a similar case like this, a solicitation charge. Those charges were ultimately thrown out. he was saying he was innocent. In this case, Jed York pled no contest, and there was no discipline for Robert Kraft. So the league will have to make a determination here. But again, very limited precedent for disciplining an owner. They could do it. They say that owners are held to an even higher standard than players are under the personal conduct policy, but we will have to see after they review the facts of this case.
Okay, Judy, I appreciate that. Thanks very much. Much more on the way as we continue on the Insiders. New head coach, new stadium in Buffalo.